Hello, everybody, and this is my plea for help. Somebody, please help locate my children. I want to say that I never alienated Shalish out of the children's lives, um, even though we were in hiding. I did keep my location under secret because I was afraid of him and the Millbrook Police Department. I begged him to get counseling. I begged him to make a fair parenting plan. Um, I had the children try to talk to him on several occasions. There was one time, the last time that I had the children talk, he wouldn't speak. He would remain silent. He would never talk. His girlfriend would talk, but he would never talk. He remained totally silent. I tried to have the children talk to him several times, and he talked to them once and made them feel very uncomfortable. And then again, I tried to have them talk to him, and they told me, "Mom, we don't want to talk to him anymore. Don't call him anymore." And so I said, I let my children lead this. I did not hold them hostage. I did not brainwash them. I did not tell them anything bad about their father. I did tell them that their father needed help, that he was sick, and that he needed help in order to be a better father, and that we're going to have him get the help he needs so that they can spend time with them. They were not interested in spending time with him. They were not interested in being with him. After a while, they told me they did not want to talk to him on the phone anymore, and I told them at that time, when you feel like you want to talk to him again, I will call him and you can talk to him. I did not want them to feel that they couldn't talk to their dad. I never told them that their dad was bad. I explained what happened. I even pacified and explained away kindly what happened, that he sometimes snaps because he's sick and he needs help and he needs counseling. I gave reasons to their behaviors that they've experienced with their father. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I didn't want them to feel inadequate about their father. I didn't want their father. I was not trying to cut their father out of their life. I was trying to have a safe way for them to have contact with their father. I was asking him for a safe way for all of us to coexist and get along. I asked him for shared parenting. I talked. Well, I didn't talk to him, but I talked to, because he refused to speak. So whenever I talked to him, I talked at him in every conversation. But his girlfriend came to me, and I told her, even, tell him to come to my mom's house. Let's straighten this out the right way. I would like to have the children during school time because I didn't want them in the racist school system of Alabama. I wanted them to go to a diverse school and have friends of diverse nature and not experience the racism that goes on there. So I said, why don't you let me have the kids during school time and you take them in the summer? And, I was trying to make a parenting plan that worked for both of us. I did not tell him he could not, I didn't want him around the children. The abuse that had happened, I wanted him to get counseling so that when it was his turn, that I don't have to worry about any abuse, because he has counseling, the kids have counselors, and it would be a safe visit. They could always call me if something happened, or, another family or friend, that if something happened. I begged him for a safe parenting plan, but he was hell-bent on me going to jail. And is still hell-bent on me going to jail. If you guys check out his Facebook page, his name is Shalish Tana. On his Facebook page, it's full of, "This is a dirty game. I'm going to get you guys. You guys did this to me. You guys did that to me." How I need to run. All kinds of things that just are, "I'm going to get you with the legal system." Oh, come to Alabama. He wants to make sure I come to Alabama because he knows he can control the situation with the lawyers, the judges, and the police in Alabama. Just evil for no reason, and I still can't understand why he's hell-bent on making me feel miserable and hurting the children in the process. I don't want to hurt him. Even when I told of the abuse that went on in the home, I only told the abuse because I was trying to protect the children and myself. Um, the only reason why I said anything is because I knew that it was just a matter of time before he snapped and seriously hurt someone. I don't know if he could control these behaviors, but these children are in a position where they're surrounded by evil people, and I do believe that they're being sexually abused because of the history of abuse that I have witnessed with my own eyes. That is not hearsay, that is the truth. So I do believe that there's something bad going on. And like I told you before in the other video, the last time I talked to the children on the phone, they sounded very scared. They were afraid to talk. They were afraid to. They were afraid. I can hear the fear in their voice. Sai did tell me that he was being left alone home to cook and care for the girls on their own. Sai is not the one to be left alone to care for his siblings. He just really is not. You know, every mother knows their children, and Sai is not the one that I would leave in charge of his brothers and sisters at all. Not that he's not a great kid. Don't get me wrong, he's a great kid, but he gets stuck in his video. I'm gonna still be honest. He gets stuck in his video games, and he is no longer present. Sony takes his mind, and he's gone in Sony Land and Fortnite or whatever it is he's playing. He's no longer there with us. You have to be attentive to watch children, and he doesn't have that skill. That is not his forte. Malia asked me, can you come and visit? And she said she half wants to come home, and she said that because he was listening, and you could tell in her voice that she wants her mom. And I told her that I could not come visit because of the same problems, which are the warrants for arrest and everything else, and me being held criminally on lies that I have not been able to prove myself out of. These people have compiled these lies against me, and it seems like there's nothing I can do but go to jail because my abuser wants me in jail. For no other reason. I've committed no other crime. I have done nothing bad. I have never been indicated in child abuse. I have, he has. I have not. This is that barking dog you guys heard on the other video. She's so loving, but oh, such a pain in the butt. So when I got to, I'm gonna stop there because it really bothers me to talk about a lot of this. When I got out of jail and the state troopers of Connecticut told me what to do, I did that. Police refused to do anything about the fraud marriage. They said they couldn't do anything. I then still didn't stop. I then made up flyers and was handing out flyers to get people awareness, to get help, to get a pro bono lawyer, to have support, to get my kids back, to know where they are, to talk to them. There has been nothing written stating that I can't speak to my children. There has been no parental rights taken to say that I cannot have visitation with my children or speak to my children. He is doing this on his own. He does have some type of paperwork that I have called around to, stating that I have to talk to the children only through DHR. I did have a copy of that. It has been lost. But it's a copy of a paperwork saying that I have to talk to the children through Child Protective Services. But when I called Child Protective Services of Alabama, they said and refused to adhere to that paperwork, just like they refused to adhere to the safety precautions New York put in. I had this document stating that I could talk to my children through Child Protective Services. When I called Child Protective Services in order to talk to my children through Child Protective Services, like this paperwork is saying, Child Protective Services, called DHR of Alabama, Elmore County, has refused to let me talk to the children through DHR. They said that they do not do that. I then called to the courthouse of Alabama where these paperwork is supposed to be originated from, and they do not have to get a new copy because I lost mine. I did have this copy now, but somehow or another in the move and everything else is missing. I'm going to go back through my stuff with a fine-tooth comb, see if I can find it. I've got lots and lots and lots of paperwork to see if I can find it. But I can't find it, so I called the Elmore County clerk's office, and I called the clerk's office of Massachusetts, and they are both telling me that that paperwork is bogus. They do not have any copies of that paperwork. Child Protective Services said they do not administer or facilitate me being able to speak to my children through that type of thing. That's something that they just do not do. So this paperwork that he has, and he's telling people, oh, she can only speak to the children through DHR, is bogus, because DHR and the courthouse is telling me that this paper does not exist. Why, how, what it is, I don't know. There's been a lot of underhanded stuff on my case. And I don't know. I'm just can't talk to my children, because, and I have to go to jail because I was with traffickers magically because he said so, and I got a sentence to be held in Alabama for not adhering to a default divorce that I never knew even happened, because my abuser, Shayla Tana, says so. All of these things because he say so. Nothing's been investigated. Nothing has never been proven. I have been proven to be the fit parent multiple times. He has been indicated in abuse multiple times. I have never been. But anyway, I started handing out flyers in Massachusetts. I went to a rally. I'll post a video of that, and Senator Hines told me he was going to help me, which I had a meeting with him after I left the state, because my public defender told me not to come to his office. He told me not to call him, that he would call me, not to call him. And I asked him about coming to his office, and he told me that if I came to his office, he was going to call the police on me. This is the second public defender I had. And the reason why I ran, because he told me that, and the last time we spoke, which was only over the phone after I called him 100 times, and he told me that my charges were going to be dropped the next court date. I walk in the court and my charges were not dropped the next court date. What happened was that it was postponed. The district attorney said they did not have enough information in order to proceed at this time. They didn't know whether they're dealing with a kidnapper or a domestic violence victim. And instead of filing for a motion to dismiss the case then and there, my lawyer did not. He told me that the case was going to be dropped. The case was not dropped. Then he refused to talk to me about the paperwork that I have that proves that I'm innocent, and the paper trail that I have that proves I'm innocent, and the people that can contest that no traffickers came and got me, that I was in shelter. He refused to get that information. The first public defender I had, I asked for him to be removed from the case because he was a racist sack of Massachusetts mess. He told me we did not see eye to eye, and then told me a racist story. So I asked for him to be removed. If we do not see eye to eye, and then you're going to tell me some racist story, you are not going to defend me. And so I asked him to be taken off the case. He was. I was given another one. The judge told me not to address court without counsel because I went in and filed a motion for a speedy trial at this point because it had been 6 months, and I was told that I could not contact the children at this time, not to contact Shaylish or the children at this time because it was be bad for my case or whatever. So 6 months had already went by. I'm not getting anywhere in court. They keep postponing court out. I went in and filed a motion for a speedy trial. Because I did that, the judge told me not to address court without counsel. And then I get a new counsel. I get a new public defender, and he refuses to address. So now the judge has told me not to address court without counsel. So I can't do anything. I can't put any paperwork in or prove anything on my own that I'm innocent. And then the counsel that he gives me, the second counsel that he gives me, refuses to do so. I go home and I talk to my older sons, and I think about everything that has happened, all of the setup, all of the underhanded business, and realize that this is not safe. This court is not going to be safe. It had not moved into court, and we were already 9 months in. The last time we went to court, it did not move on to the case did not move on, but the hearing was once again postponed. It felt all bad. I ran to New York. I had already met Senator Hines at a police brutality rally for Black Lives Matter in the NAACP. And I spoke with him outside, and he had already given me his card and told me to come see him. He was going to help me, that this situation is terrible. He's sorry that I'm going through this. So I had already left Massachusetts at this point, but I knew that I had to get help and I needed protection of state. So I contacted Senator Hines' office and made an appointment. We had a phone interview. He told me he was going to give me protection of state. He told me he was definitely going to help me through this situation that spans multiple states. He said that it was wrong, definitely wrong, that there should not have been a divorce hearing without my knowledge, and I should not be persecuted criminally for not adhering to said matters. He definitely agreed with me on the police violence thing, that shouldn't have happened, that I should not have, my son should not have been beaten up by the police department, and I should not be in fear of my life from the Millbrook, Alabama Police Department. His secretary, AJ, started working on getting me protection of state, started talking to the courthouse, and then AJ calls me and tells me that he was told to stop. So I'm like, okay, why? And he said, you know, my job, I can't tell you why, but they won't let me. I can only do what they will let me to do, and my bosses have told me to stop doing this. So I tried to get back a hold of Senator Hines, and he didn't answer. I left several messages, and he answered shortly later, and he gives me a number for a lawyer. So I'm like, great, he's got me a lawyer. We're going to be able to fight this, and I'm going to get my kids back, and everything's going to be great. And I finally got someone, and I got this lawyer. So I call up the lawyer, and I talk to the lawyer. I explain my case. He definitely says that this is wrong, and you know, he'll take on the case, and told me, you know, what we can do and what I should have done in the first place, and he told me what I should have done in the first place, and what we can do now that this is going on. And so I'm really excited, and I'm thinking that this lawyer is pro bono. Then he tells me, I do not work for free. I said, but Senator Hines told me to call you. Oh, yeah, but I don't work for free. And it's a $10,000 retainer fee and $275 work hour thereafter. I'm floored. I'm devastated. I'm like, great. I said, so I don't have a competent lawyer. I cannot afford this lawyer. This is a lot of money. And so I try to get in touch with Senator Hines. I message him telling him that I'm poor and I can't afford that. He never gets back to me, ever gets back to me. He never says anything. Everything that he promised was just out the window. So I continue to hide and continue to work with authorities in New York. They send me to lawyers. They do everything. Lawyers tell me this is wrong. This should have never happened. A divorce does not happen that quickly. The divorce actually happened within 20 days. And definitely a divorce doesn't happen without another party. It's like a contract, and one person can't steal from the contract of this marriage without the other person unless proper notice has been given. Well, there's no way they could have properly notified me. Number one, the police knew where I was at. I was in a domestic violence shelter. Number two, I was calling Miss Tammy at the clerk's office every week on Thursday, who knew I was at a domestic violence shelter, who also knew that I left the domestic violence shelter and was living in my own home. But what she didn't know, and she's also a part of this, she's definitely a player in this. What she didn't know, that she kind of like let slip later on, is that that house that I had moved into was still under the shelter program. She tells me recently, oh, no, you had moved, remember? You were in your own house when that happened. Yeah, I had moved, and it was my own house, but it still was under the shelter program blanketed. So they thought that I had moved into my own house, and it was time to attack. But I called her every week, Miss Tammy, every single solitary week, from getting the filing papers. I knew he filed for divorce. I didn't know it happened. It was not summoned to court, but I called Miss Tammy every single solitary Thursday, and she told me that there was no divorce on docket every single solitary Thursday, and that's documented, thank God. Also, after I had the divorce in hand, because he showed up at the kid's school and the police gave me the divorce paperwork and all that stuff, but there were safety precautions in New York that started a safety precautions hearing in New York. That's what prompted that. But I called her when the divorce was in hand, and I had it on paperwork, and I asked her, was there any, and I have a witness of this, my friend was sitting right there, thank God, and so was the counselor at the time. I said, is there any divorce on docket? And she tells me, no, there's no divorce on docket. There's nothing, oh, no, there's nothing down here in the court for you. Not yet. I said, Miss Tammy, are you sure? Can you look again? Oh, no, I'm looking here right now. I'm looking. There's nothing here. I said, well, was there a divorce on docket? Was there a divorce hearing? Oh, no, no. I said, yes, there was, because I've got the paperwork here in my hand. Oh, well, there's nothing down here that says that any divorce ever went into court, this, that, and the other. She was told to hide the divorce from me. I know this now. I did not know this then when I was talking to Miss Tammy. She's also my paperwork. She's also my paperwork, and she told the judge that I said I wasn't coming back to Alabama. Now, I did say I wasn't coming back to Alabama, but this was after the divorce was adjudicated, and nobody told me that the divorce happened. I was ready to go to the divorce in Alabama. I really was. But we didn't know it happened. So I did say I wasn't coming back to Alabama to her after the divorce had happened, and nothing, nothing I could. They wouldn't let me appeal it, this, that, and the other. So I told her I wasn't coming back to Alabama. No, I'm not coming back to Alabama. Alabama's dangerous. The police have threatened me. I'm afraid for my life. I have an abusive ex-husband who has threatened my life, and now his girlfriend has said she was going to kill me and beat my children, abuse my children. So no, I didn't go back. I did tell her that at one point, but she told the judge that I said that I wouldn't go back to Alabama. But this was after I've called her every week and asked her, was there a divorce on file? And she told me no. She was told to tell me no. It was all a cover-up. I know this now. I didn't know this then. It has been a cover-up for a very, very long time, and my children are suffering, and I am suffering. I do not belong in jail. I have not committed any crime. So that's the end of my story, and I really need help. I am scared to death for my children because of what I know. I'm scared for me because of what I don't know. And a lot of people have tried to help or said that they will help, and are afraid to speak out, are afraid to stand up. I've been told by I've been told by lawyers that they wouldn't touch this case with a 10-foot pole because they're afraid. They let me know that there's corruption on my case. They let me know that this should not have happened. They let me know that my constitutional rights have been violated. They let me know that my parental rights have not been taken or altered, and those are being violated. My children are being isolated, and my puppy understands that I'm hurt in the heart. She's a good dog. I complain about her, but she's a good dog. But I thank you guys for listening, and I thank you all who have shared my story, for sharing, and I ask that you guys continue to share my story until my children are brought to light, brought home, or brought to family and friends that care about them. It's obvious that these people that they're with right now and the people that are around them do not know them, nor do they care about my children. I just thank you all for helping. I thank you all for listening. I thank you guys who are pushing for my children to be safe. Thank you. People who are pushing for my freedom, thank you. And this is my last cry for help. And if I can't get any help like this, I am going to walk. I am not going to give up. I refuse to give up. I refuse to surrender. I refuse to give in because I have done nothing wrong. Anything that he has told is a lie. I have never harmed my children. I have never harmed Shivani. I have never harmed Malia. I have never harmed Sainath. I'm more of a passive parent. I have never alienated them from their father. There was already an alienation that he created his own self by not being around the children, by not spending time with the children before I left. So I was not alienating them from a love that they had with their father, or a relationship that they had with their father. But I did try to continue a relationship with him. I don't know what else I could have done better in this situation. Probably a lot of things. And if anybody wants to say, well, you could have did this or you should have did that, take a walk in my shoes and see it from my point of view. I've done a lot. I've tried a lot, and I feel like I failed at protecting my children. Um, and I need help. I seriously need help. I want to have a life. I don't want to continue to have to hide. I want to be able to go to work. I want to be able to raise my children. And I'm not saying on my own, oh, snatch them from him and give them back to me, but there has been crimes committed by him. There has been abuses committed by him, and I think that it's only fair that people pay for the crimes that they've committed, and the use of judicial system to abuse definitely breaks apart lives, and my children are being hurt. This family has been broken by this whole situation, and there should be some type of remedy. Thank you guys for listening. This is my last video. Bye guys. Please help me. Help me save my children. Help me secure my freedom. Any advice, any suggestions, pray with us. Pray for me. I am open to any advice, any suggestions. I will post one more video of everything that I have already tried. I think I mentioned some of these things, within the videos as they came up. But every organization that I have contacted and to try, so that we're not going over the same thing that I've already tried, or at this point, do it all over again. Try again. I mean, you can't help but not to try, even though I've tried these places before. Southern Poverty Law Center, Equal Justice Opportunity Center, NAACP, ACLU, just what is it called, BACA, all kinds of different organizations, and everybody's stumped because they tell me that this should not have ever happened. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sharing my story. Thank you guys for keeping me in your prayers, and continue to do so until we know where these children are. Shivani, Mama love ya. Mimo, Mama love you. Sai, Mama miss ya.